Blizzard just released the patch notes for patch 2.4.1, and with it comes a glorious change for the Death Trap enjoyers out there. A Beast Corner was changed so that instead of depending on how much health you deplete to give you resources, it will now give you 40% resources back as long as you deplete any HP. To benefit from this, we're going to be utilizing the Undying aspect. The Undying aspect gives you HP whenever you're casting a skill, which we do all the time with Death Trap. With this and some clever use of cooldown reduction on various pieces, we can actually get our Death Trap down to below 10-second cooldown, which we need in order to cast it permanently. Cooldown has never really been the problem to solve for the Ancestral version because we tend to have a lot of it. However, when we had to sacrifice one of our ring slots to have ultimate skills restored primary resources, we actually started to struggle with cooldown reduction. Now the Ancestral version can go back to using a cooldown reduction temper on your amulet and on one ring, meaning that Death Trap no longer has cooldown reduction problems. This significantly reduces the gear you need in order to start spamming Death Trap without any cooldown. As you can see with the gear I'm hovering here, I don't have anything that is absurdly crazy. No triple crits, no nothing, and I can still have my Death Trap below 10 seconds. Depending on the rolls you get on your amulet and your ring, you might need to crit cooldown reduction 1 or 2 more times, but it all depends on the values that you get. If you need to, you can also crit the cooldown reduction on your helmet. There's no need for a GA here, but it could make things easier for you. The exact specifics of the amount of cooldown you need and which things to crit with your masterworking, you can find in the planner below until the written guide is updated for 2.4.1. Do note though that you do need at least 12 ranks of Death Trap in order to go below 10 seconds. If you don't have this, no matter how much cooldown reduction you have, you're not gonna meet this requirement. So the easiest way to get this is by having gloves with core ranks, using the Vex rune if you need to, and using Vehement Brawler. All of this combined should make it very easy to hit the 12 rank mark. When it comes to the Mythic version, the main change is that we now use a legendary chest with the Undying aspect in order to benefit from a Beast Cornered. This change reduces the gearing requirements significantly, and you basically don't have to do specific crits for the most part. The only exception is that on one of your rings, you're going to have to crit twice on Death Trap cooldown reduction because the requirements are kind of steep. If you're fine with losing some damage, you can equip Harlequin's Crest instead of Erupedition, and that will reduce the crit requirements even more. It doesn't really matter where you have the Undying aspect, the Banished Lord's Talisman, Beastfall Boots, or Scoundrel's Leathers. All of those four pieces are kind of interchangeable. The only thing to keep in mind is that the Undying aspect can only be on chest or pants, so you need that slot open for those two. You can actually play this build without having any Chaos Armor. What you would have to do instead is run Scoundrel's Leathers on your chest, normal Legendary Gloves with core ranks on them, and this is important to reduce the Death Trap cooldown. You would then use Undying on your pants to benefit from the energy restoration from a Beast Cornered, and you run normal Beastfall Boots. This setup also gets you to 10-second cooldowns and allows you to spam it without any problems. There is an even crazier variant of this build called the Exodia DT. Exodia DT basically revolves around using the Chaos perk Hit and Run in order to get damage, but this means you need to dash constantly and you don't get the resource back from a Beast Cornered. To get around this, you need to run Shroud of False Death with a triple crit on resource generation. You need to have 950 plus strength with a double crit on your casting ultimate skills restores energy. And this needs to be a max roll. All of these requirements will be in the written section, so you can just go through it step by step. But the gearing requirement for this variant is insane. However, this will be the fastest and best variant of Death Trap out there. Do note that this build is incredibly spammy. The Exodia DT costs basically your entire skill bar all the time, which for some people might hurt. If it hurts, or if you feel like, no, that doesn't sound like something I want to do, run the Beast Cornered setup because they are way less spammy and they're way easier on your wrists. The full written guide will be updated once 2.4.1 is released. Until then, the build planner will be pinned in the comment section below. If you have any questions about this build or the ideas behind it or how it functions, please reach out in the comment section below. That's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.